What's going on, family? It's your man BMT, and today we're doing a reaction to a reaction, I think to another reaction video. That makes sense. Reaction. He reacted to his video. He directed the video. Anyways, we're doing a video of my man Anton Daniels. Shout out to Anton Daniels. Did a video. Passport Bros are catching HIV in the DR. So we're gonna do this review. Okay, Passport Bros are suffering 84,000 new cases of women giving men HIV in the Dominican Republic. That is a harsh line. They mentioned the Passport Bros. So I gotta pull away some talking points from Anton that were a little bit maybe disingenuous. Shout out to Anton. He's came on the show, the live show that I do. So shout out to him. He does do a lot of Passport Bros content. All right, but I gotta attack some of these talking points just to put everything in perspective, because that is a hell of a title for a video, So let's get right into it.
In 2024, Passport Bros, I know that's been one of your favorite destinations to go to, man. I know y'all been in Colombia, we ain't got those numbers in yet, but I know y'all been going to DR, man, ever since y'all find out you get it for the 40. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if inflation causes prices to go up, man. So if you're a woman that's dating a man that travels to the DR for fun, test them. If you're married, man, and he go to DR a lot, test them. We all know what these dudes are going over there for, man. 84,000 cases, bro, in 1 year, right? And these are people that went and got tested, bro. A lot of Dominican, man, if they don't feel any pain, bro, they ain't going nowhere. So just know that. That's people that say, hey, I feel a little sick, man. Let me go and get checked out. 84,000 people, man. That's freaking insane, bro. How careless people are, man, with their health when it comes to the way they express themselves sexually. People, man, come on, man. It's not that expensive. Use protection, people, man. Don't play with your life like that. I know there's medication so that you can live with it almost as if you don't have it, but you still know that you do. You don't want to deal with that, man. You don't want to put other people through that. Be responsible, people. It's 2025, man. We got to do better.
All right, before Antoine gets to it, I want to put things in perspective right off the rip, real quick. So you have a population of about 11 million people in the DR. It's the second biggest country in the Caribbean with the biggest population. Around people with HIV, it's at about 0.6% of people living currently with HIV out of the 11 million people that are living there. So less than 1%. I just want to put that in perspective real quick. And before I start, I'm not trying to motivate you guys to go out there and wild out and crash out. I'm just giving you the raw numbers to put everything in perspective. Since they mentioned Passport Bros are catching HIV in the DR. That's kind of crazy. But let's continue to what Anton has to say.
Ain't nobody doing better. Are they crazy? You think that people are about to do better? You can forget it, bro. Most people that are flying over into these places, if you're not in the military, and I'm not saying that the only place that people go to is the Dominican Republic, but obviously that's the hot spot. Thailand is absolutely ruined.
False. Thailand is not ruined. I don't know where he got that from. Thailand is just doing just fine. It's booming. All right.
And there's other places too, but most people that are having this conversation, and this is why you got to be careful who you listen to, because I'm not sure that everybody is given responsible advice on how you're supposed to be moving through these streets. I did a little bit of research and I went and read a lot of these statistics, and it's absolutely true. Actually, they're saying that it's a lot worse than what's being presented to the general public, and people have to be careful. But
now I will say this. When I was living in the DR in San Domingo, I did see a news story about a rise in HIV cases. So he's definitely telling the truth there. There has been a rise overall in HIV cases, but I believe there's going to be a rise anywhere. If there's a rise in an alternative lifestyle, then there's going to be a rise in HIV cases. I'm just, not being facetious or anything, but that's what it is. It's a virus that is prevalent amongst people that have alternative lifestyles. And I'm about to pull up the stats in a moment so you guys can see the actual raw stats of the HIV cases in the Dominican Republic. All right. You'll see the men have more cases of it than the women do because that virus is transmitted primarily through alternative sexual acts for the most part. It's difficult to receive it from, I guess you want to say, traditional sex. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving you, raw stats here and just raw, unfiltered information that a lot of people would probably not give you. Okay.
I'll just show you a little bit of something just to have a conversation so that we can be a little bit more honest and transparent about what we're talking about. Studies show, or assessments was basically saying that the 90% of new HIV, almost 90% of new HIV infections in the Caribbean in 2023 alone were in Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica. And the only reason that it's in Haiti and Jamaica the way that it is, and these huge numbers, because we all know that South Africa, well, maybe we all don't know, but I'm gonna educate you today, that South Africa has some of the highest cases, or have the highest cases of HIV and AIDS and venereal diseases, STDs, STIs in the world, which that's never a part of the conversation when people are talking about traveling or moving back to Africa or even being passport bros and passport cysts, right? And so a lot of these people are going over there and they are trading diseases with each other, similar to how they were doing in Atlanta, similar to how they was doing in Houston, because box is cheap. Now, this is not the time for us to go back and forth and be having a conversation about whether or not you dick policing or not. Nobody is using rubbers anymore. Even down here, you can go down
How does how does Anton know that no one is using rubbers anymore? Number one, like, how do you make that assessment? How do you know?
little bit more and said Dominican Republic has a second highest number of people living with HIV in the Caribbean.
Okay, so the Dominican Republic is the second biggest population in the Caribbean. So the numbers are, of course, going to be higher. You have a lot of Caribbean islands. It's like 30 something of them that are small, like very small populations. You got almost 11 million in the DR. So, of course, the numbers would be more.
That would scare the fuck out of me. For me personally, that would scare the hell out of me because I'm the type of person, um, I'm the type of person that I don't have to participate in it to find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand the logic behind people not doing their research. People are so excited to get a nut off that they will crash the fuck out and they will go to a whole nother country that's basically becoming AIDS infested. Now, there's a caveat to this. That's 84,000 new cases that are reported from people that actually got tested in 2024 alone. Now, this has been going on for years. New cases that is reported from people that are being tested. Imagine how many people are not being tested. Imagine how many people are not participating. I seen a content creator, a much, much bigger content creator than me, was having a conversation with his followers or with the people that he was live streaming with. And he was saying another content creator was telling him that he need to come over to overseas into the Dominican Republic and stuff like that because that's where all of the sex was, that's where all of the hoes was, that's where all of the action was.
That action is all over the world, by the way. It's all over the world, man. It's just not the DR.
And that he just needs to make sure that he take prevention medication, take PrEP, take this, take that. Honest to God, I think that most people are walking around untested with these diseases, and because they feel like it's a way for them to treat it, that they cool with it and they not actually getting tested or none of that.
I think for the most part, I think because of what happened in 2020 and a lot of information that's coming out, I think that people are looking at the medical institutions or the medical cartel basically like they're full of it for the most part, and they are. Okay. Anytime you have corporations that can make money and profit off of somebody's illness or sickness, you're going to have all type of strategies to, you know, I ain't gonna say get people infected or anything like that, but it's just it's a lot of things that go behind closed doors when it comes to the medical industry, right? So I think just the the populace of people are just kind of like looking at anything dealing with, institutions of, medicine with like a side eye right now because of what happened, like I said, with the pandemic. Everybody's kind of side eyeing anything that comes out of these medical studies or these institutions. And people still trying to figure out where did these virus officially come from. Was it a guy? And they say that dudes were sleeping with monkeys and stuff like that and transferred it from eating monkey meat. It's all types of stuff that they've kind of said. But one thing I will say, and this is kind of might be a little off topic, is the fact that a lot of people don't understand intellectual violence. I'm gonna be honest. If you read the book, The Iceman's Inheritance, it talks about melanated populations not understanding, the different types of warfare that's they project onto people even during times of quote unquote peace. So I think just people in general are just like whatever comes out and whatever stats comes out, people like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm gonna live my life. I'm not saying going out and crashing out and just raw dogging random people, strangers or women or anything like that. But I just think that people are just kind of tired of all the commercials being sold to. It's so many HIV commercials that you see when you're down in Atlanta that you almost want to just take the medicine. So they almost, they're marketing, they're selling something to you. Now you got to take preventive medicine just to not get the bug and all that stuff. So it's a lot of little stuff going on that people are just giving a side eye to, in my opinion. Now, do I think people should be going around, in different countries raw dogging? Hell no, I'm not saying that. It's just that it's definitely some funny business going on when it comes to the medical institutions, these cartels, these for-profit corporations that have marketing campaigns on alternative lifestyles so viruses can be transmitted easier. All right. So you got to take whatever information that they put out with a grain of salt. Matter of fact, before we get back to Anton, let me pull this up right here so we can look at some stats real quick. Where we at? Let me pull this up. So these are some stats right here. All right. So in 2023, you got 84,000, like you mentioned before, living with HIV. Out of the 11 million that are there, 81,000 are, people from 15 on up, basically 15 to 49, I believe. And you have the men with a higher rate than the actual women, so about 3,000-4,000 higher. Okay, but these are raw numbers: 1%, 0.8%. You can take it, if that's a high percentage in your mind, and it might be, but I think it looks like a pretty low percentage for the most part. Okay, you got different things at play here as well. Okay, so you had about 1,400 people that passed away from the bug, out of like a 84 something thousand. So these are the numbers right here. Okay, so those are the raw numbers, 84,000. Okay, but like he said before, a lot of people, he's right, don't necessarily get tested. Like I said before, I think it's just this amount of distrust right now in concerns.
I believe that most people are walking around. And so you want another case as to why it is it makes sense for you to actually be monogamous or be in a marriage or whatever like that. Then here's another one for you, because I know that people always say, oh man, ain't nothing. I see people say it all the time. Ain't nothing better than new box. Well, guess what? New box is old box for somebody else that you then participating in, and it's diseased up.
He got a point there. He got a point there.
It's diseased up. I don't know why people just play with their life. It's like condoms ain't a thing no more. Condoms used to be a huge deal, at least where I'm from and where I was raised back in the 90s and the early 2000s. And I don't know if it was a Magic Johnson effect or what, but condoms was a major thing.
Speaking of Magic Johnson, he's still living a nice, very healthy, productive lifestyle. He ain't made billions of dollars now. Um, so
Back in my day, from people when you was going to mess with a chick, or if it was a chick that you ran into or whatever like that, or you was about to go to a chick's house, it wasn't uncommon for a person to say, hey man, you got a rubber, or hey, hit your homie up, hey man, pass me a rubber or whatever, right? Or I'm about to stop at the store and pick up a rubber or whatever, just in case. That was a thing, and or maybe it was just a thing around where I was raised at, but that was a thing, and that was normalized. It wasn't crazy like it is now, where people is just really like the conversations that I hear from people online and stuff like that is, hey man, skip it, I'm gonna just see it through. Or, oh man, it feel better without the rubber on. Feel better with who? Without the rubber on? You willing to play Russian roulette with your life? Listen, fuck the Russian roulette part with your life. Not only that, are you willing to be uncomfortable and having to be on medication for the rest of your life? And people making it like it's just normal, like it's no big deal. I've been seeing people talk about this stat and this statistic for a while now, and I don't know why I've been slow to address it. Maybe it was just other things that I felt like was more important, because people gonna do what they want to do anyway. And I don't even think that this is the the forum that's going to stop somebody from doing what they're doing, because I think that most of the people that listen to me or listen to my content tend to be a lot more responsible. They tend to be a little bit more conservative. They tend to focus more on their bag. But it's people online, and it's passport bros and stuff like that's online. They will argue you down for the opportunity for them to get a nut off.
I don't understand that statement. Hold on.
Catch a Spirit flight airline and get a nut off over in the Dominican Republic. They will argue that. Forget whether or not they like you in real life or not. Forget whether or not it makes sense. They want cheap box. You know what I found with cheap? Forget, and not just with the people, but just in general. You know what I found with cheap? Whether you're using a Temu product or you're going to get a power tool from Lowe's and Home Depot, cheap don't last, and you usually wind up paying more in the end. Cheap is not worth it. You usually wind up paying more in the end. I'd rather get a quality product. Take it to mean what you want to mean. I'd rather vet for a quality product than to find myself having to pay egregiously over a period of time. It reminds me of people that get tickets. It's like, yo, I'd rather just get my license and pay for my registration and insurance than to crash the fuck out and not be insured when I was supposed to have it on the road in the first place, and now I'm getting sued and or getting my car impounded, and you lose your license, and you got to go to jail as a result of it. It's just stupid. But y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the
Okay, so to sum the video up, basically, I don't know how this ties into the Passport Bros. I guess the original reviewer, mentioned the Passport Bros. I don't know if guys are going over there, catching any type of, serious diseases or viruses. I mean, you definitely want to, of course, use protection. That's, basic. You definitely want to do that. But as far as, guys going over there, catching viruses, they Passport Bros, and that's just all clickbait. That's just all, for the headlines to get the views for the most part. Guys are traveling for whatever reason. They have the freedom to travel for whatever reason they want. In some cases, a divorce is the most expensive thing that a man will go through. 9 times out of 10, it's a bad divorce. You lose houses, all types of stuff. And most men just want sexual pleasures anyway. So, hey, take that how you want it. I just want to attack some of the things, his talking points of what he was saying. Live your life. Like I said, this has nothing to do with Passport Bros. This reaction video that he did is getting hundreds of thousands of views. I think because people hate on the Passport Bros. They're like, oh, Passport Bros catching HIV in the DR now. Like, I have no idea what type of title is that, man. But regardless, Anton Daniels is a good guy. Like I said, he came on the show before. He does do a lot of Passport Bro content to a certain degree. Some days he's for it, some days he's not. Listen, as a man, you're willing to do, I have no judgment on what men decide to do with their time and their resources. And I don't have no judgment on what women decide to do with their bodies and their time as well. Something that's been going on since the dawn of time. So it is what it is. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about, these crazy stats coming out the DR, as far as, well, not even the stats, but more so the title of the video and how Passport Bros get caught up in almost everything negative in concerns of, travel. All right. Peace.